Hello, it's Stephanie from Book Blurbs and Blogs. Welcome to my channel. If you're new here, I talk about books, blurbs and blogs. And recently, the last week or so, I have been writing a blog, which is quite an interesting experience. I haven't done any blogging for quite a few years now, and I thought I'd do some of my book reviews up on a blog, see how that turns out. I didn't think people would be reading it, and people are actually reading it, so I'm really pleased by that. So I thought I would talk to you about my blog here. I'm going to put it into the subscription box below, so you can take a look at it as well. It's going to be a little bit different from vlogging. Of course, my writing style is probably a bit different from my speech style, perhaps. So yeah, please check that out. So I've actually written a blog about this as well, or should I say, I have written a book review on this on my blog, so please check that out. Let me know what you think, and if you've read it, please comment on my YouTube video as well. Depends what you prefer, blogs or vlogs. Oh, I can see something working with that, blogs and vlogs. Okay, anyway, moving on. So when I ordered this book, I actually thought it was going to be a fiction, and it turned out it was a non-fiction book, which I was quite surprised by. I have mentioned it in my book haul that I was quite surprised by this book and how much I didn't realise how much I needed it when I got it. And it was, funnily enough, one of the first books I took out of the book box when I received it, and I just devoured it in a night. So yeah, it is about Matt Haig, and it's all about not just him, but he uses himself as an example of what is going on in the world and why he is finding that there's a lot more people, not just himself, who are suffering with anxiety and panic attacks. And panic attacks are pretty awful experiences to have. Not that I've had one, but I do know people who have had them, and it's not a fun situation to be in. It feels like they're having a heart attack and just everything's closing in on them. And he talks a little bit about that in his book. He also talks about the different reasons why we as a planet are experiencing this, why there has been a lot more people talking about anxiety, and he was looking for correlations and examples of why this could be happening, why more and more of the population on a global level is actually experiencing mental health issues. And I noticed recently in myself, I say for the past few years before COVID, I thought my anxiety had come back. I used to suffer with anxiety as a kid. Anything that changed, and even going away on holiday used to give me anxiety. And to my 40s, I noticed my anxiety levels over the last few years has been increasing, and I just thought that was hormonal, and it can play a part in your anxiety levels. But some of my anxiety levels didn't really match with what was going on in my life. There was just really small things. And when you read this book, you just don't realise what's being placed in front of you until it's explained to you. So it kind of opened my eyes to, well, it did open my eyes to what was in front of me and why I was suffering with anxiety more than I really needed to. It was disproportionate to the issue at hand and all the changes that was going on. And of course, since COVID, a lot more people have been suffering with anxiety, and of course that has increased everybody's mental health problems and issues, which has been reported that we're seeing a huge increase in that. And it just kind of goes to show there's a problem, there's an issue on a global level some of the examples that he gives. Look at the way news is reported, particularly over the COVID period. It's very negative. It's very much close your doors, don't let anybody in, just stay within your group. You know, humans are social beings. So this is very alien to us, and being socially isolated doesn't fit well with us. And that, of course, over time is going to cause issues with our mental health. And then there's things like marketing or emotional marketing, and he terms it in his book, and I'm not going to say exactly what it is, I'm going to let you read it, but there's a term in this book that is like, I'd never heard that term before. But, you know, marketeers use psychologists to advertise, to promote, and they also use emotional marketing to create anxiety, and creating anxiety and making us feel bad about ourselves might push us and persuade us into buying things that we really don't need. So that was quite an interesting nugget that I got from this story, this book. Oh, I've got a delivery, so just bear with me. The dogs are going crazy. Okay, the delivery has arrived. Next on this was about shopping malls, because Matt talks about how he used to dread going to the shopping malls, how he had a panic attack in one of them, and he didn't understand why it was always shopping malls that made him anxious. And he discovered that shopping malls are actually designed to increase your anxiety levels, again, to promote shopping. And think about it, if you've ever been in a shopping mall or a shopping centre, and you've been into a shop and sometimes you just can't wait to get out of there, but you feel pressure, and that pressure turns into spending, and then you feel like you should spend to just get out of the store, and then you come out and you're just like, why have I just bought that? I know I've done that loads and loads of times. More times than I care to remember, actually. Then there's social media, of course. So we are bombarded with social media on a 24/7 basis. The social media can come in all forms, and it's 24/7, you're bombarded with information, and that can be not just for women, but it's also for men as well. The pressure to look a certain way, to dress a certain way, to be manicured a certain way, to have a hairstyle a certain way, to live a lifestyle a certain way, or at least try to aim for that lifestyle. And then there again, it's created not just to spend, but it makes you feel bad about yourself and internally as well. I mean, I hardly ever wear makeup, but I'm wearing makeup for this vlog because everybody else is doing it, and there's my peer pressure right there. So there is the social media side, and then there's the trolls on there, negativity, that also causes mental health as well. And as we've learned recently, social media platforms love trolls because it engages in conversation, it engages more time on that platform. So there's that as well, but it doesn't make us feel any better, but arguing with somebody. Not for many people anyway. I know I never feel as though I've got one up on somebody. I just feel as though I've just wasted my time on that platform. And that's exactly what they want you to do, is spend your time on that platform. So spending less time on social media is going to help, of course. And then you've got the same with magazines, and he talks about one of the magazine editors who famously commented on how prolific the magazine was at trying to get people to spend money and have a idea of what life should be like and how you should look and what weight you should be and what diet you should be on and so on and so forth. And so that was quite an interesting part in this book as well. And then you've got to think about the government. The government rarely gives you good news. There's always a tax hike, or there's something going on in the world news. There's always something going on with the government, and you can rarely hear positive. It's mostly negative that you hear. In fact, I can't think of anything positive that they said in recently. We're constantly being told that, there's something bad happening in the world. There's something that the government's got to be working on. yeah, so those are just a few of the examples. And this book is quite slim and it packs a punch. And like I said, I did not realise I needed this book when I needed it. And it helped me to lighten my load. I'm not as severe as Matt Haig is with his panic attacks and his anxiety. And I hadn't realised just how much my anxiety levels had been creeping up and why they had been creeping up. And so I've toned everything down, the social media platforms. I'm on Twitter, but I rarely use Twitter. I'm not a big fan of it. So, and he's also talked about managing your mental health, and he explains what he does, but he doesn't say this is going to work for you. He just said these things work for me. Try things that work for you. He doesn't preach, or he doesn't put on you the things that you should be doing. He just says you've got to find a way that will help you to move forward and move past what you're going through. And some of those things are going to be limiting social media, turning off your phone, go for walks, go for a run, find something that works for you. Matt adds humour to this book, so some very funny parts to it, some quite funny quotes in it as well, so that kind of lightens the tone of the book, which is nice, particularly because he's talking about difficult issues. And he provides practical, non-preachy ways of managing and helpful snippets that may help you manage your situation, as mentioned earlier. So I think this is going to be a book that I am going to keep on my shelf for a long time. I'm going to refer to it when I need it the most. And I think this is brilliant. And for a non-fiction book that's not very big, I mean, it's probably, it's not very big at all. I just think this is a great story and a great book, and it's nice for somebody to be talking about something, to say if this is not your fault, there's more to it, and there's more going on around us that is contributing to our mental health issues, and it's something that needs to be addressed. So yeah, it's my birthday coming up. I am going to be doing a birthday book haul blog, and vlog. So please watch that. It will be hopefully shown next week. Well, I hope you like this video. Please comment, share, subscribe, and I will see you next time.